This is really a great shot. This is the first interview. He goes to talk to Susan Alexander Kane. This is not a model. This is a full-size set, and that sign will pull apart as the camera goes through it. You can actually see a little line between the X and the A, and it will pull apart, and then we tilt down into this skylight, and then using a flash of lightning and a dissolve and another flash, we can seal the movement inside to the set and to the high angle and then lower angle shot of Susan Alexander Kane, played by Dorothy Common-Gore, who was a discovery of Chaplin's, who was cast by Wells, who built her up a great deal in the pre-publicity, and then almost cruelly treated her very harshly on the set in order to break down her self-confidence, because he wanted her to seem like a very weak and timorous and damaged woman. It's one of the great performances in the movie.
I thought maybe we could have a talk together.
Well, think again.
And here we're going to get the typical shot of William Allen, Mr. Thompson, that we see all through the movie, leaning forward from the front of the frame so that he, like us, is looking into this frame and talking to all of the people who knew Wells as they tried, who knew Kane, I should say, as they try to piece together the mystery of this man who was many different men to many different people, whose life perhaps never did finally make sense. The background there of the nightclub was a Western set that they found at RKO, and they just used it as if the nightclub had a Western motif. Frequently, Wells did that in the movie, finding locations or sets and borrowing them rather than paying for them. Now here you see the deep focus photography, everything from the foreground to the background in focus, the foreground backlit to give us this effective silhouette, and all the way in the background, the actress Dorothy Common-Gore. And Greg Toland used double arc lamps to put all that light in the background, because the further you are away from the camera, the more light there must be on you in order for you to show up. It takes less light in the foreground than in the background. And so he used big lamps that were used for Technicolor, because Technicolor needs a whole lot of light, more light than black and white, but he used the double arc lamps in this black and white picture in order to get more light into the background, and he was able to control them almost like spotlights, as Pauline Kael says, so that he could focus light there on Susan Alexander in the background without it washing out the foreground, so that you see that even the foreground is, the whole picture is perfectly lit. And audiences were not used to a shot like this. They would expect to see first Susan Alexander, then the reporter, then the waiter, see the foreground, then the background. If the foreground was in focus, the background would be out. Now, this is a tiny papier-mâché statue, and then there is a wipe here that is invisible to take us from what appears to be a very big statue down to a full-size set. And once again here, an example of the way that Wells is able to create an immense feeling of wealth and luxury with very, very little that you actually